Yeah, YouTube, this is the Hosey Man back again, doing a follow-up video to my first and previous video, which was the PlayStation 4 versus the Xbox One video comparison, and it was from a non-biased point of view. If you haven't seen it, check it out, it's on my channel. First of all, thanks to all the subscribers, the kind comments and emails I've received. And this video is just a wee bit of a follow-up and an add-on to show you how they get the best out of either system. Now, I'm going to be mainly using the Xbox One, but that's because that's what I prefer. But I still have more games on the PlayStation 4. But for a general usage, because I have had a lot of questions through email about my setup and is it expensive? Yeah, it is expensive, but you don't have to get my particular setup. You can get a really good surround sound setup with an AV receiver, which I'm going to show you this stuff, for around £300–400 UK or $500–600 US. I want to just basically go through some of the equipment I use for my all-round setup and some of the functions that I missed out with my last video in regards to, well, a couple of wee things. The one wee mistake I noticed, there's a few mistakes I made verbally in my last video. Some of you probably noticed them already. Feel free to send me a wee message and I'll correct them. But one particular that I can remember was I said the external hard drive that plugs into the Xbox One has to be a minimum of 256 megabytes. Well, I actually meant gigabytes, but yeah, you know, stupid mistake to make, but people pick up on these things. So I'm using my Kindle Fire HDX tablet to video this. Now the camera only faces this way, I can't turn it round, so it's going to be a wee bit shoddy camera work. I'll do my best, because the last video was done with the iPhone 5 and it's not actually meant to be recorded, but it's not that much worse or better quality. I want to show something on the iPhone and I can't do that while I'm using it to film. So I'm going to start off with something I've had for a wee while. I've took them off. Some of you will have heard of these before and some of you we're about to find out. And it's a wee company in America called Control Freaks. Now, I don't know if you can actually see their website there. It's maybe a wee bit blurry. Anyway, it's Control with a K and Freaks as in how it's spelt there. And what they basically do, a big line of thumbstick extenders at different heights and lengths for different types of game. The most popular ones are for first person shooters, right? And I've got mine specifically for the Xbox One, and I'm just going to attach them here, and I'm going to explain to you for those who have never heard of these and were wondering, why would you want to extend your thumbsticks? Well, it's based around simple scientific theory, and this theory actually works. I'm going to move the camera over here because the light from my Kinect, the Xbox is actually on at the moment and it's blinding my camera. Basically, when you've got your thumbstick off, I'll take this back off for a second, and when your thumb's there, and sometimes you'll have noticed this yourselves when you're playing Call of Duty or Battlefield 4, that the first movement you make with your thumb, just try it with your own pad to get the feel of it. You'll feel there's a slight bit more resistance because basically there's not a lot of leverage there. So some people find it really difficult, especially with the right stick, when they're aiming to get it dead on someone, they go a wee bit too far because they've had to push it a wee bit harder, or aiming at a headshot, you end up getting above them and all these wee things. This is what professionals actually use, people who enter tournaments and competition. Now, I'm not that good, but I have noticed since I've had these for all first person shooters that they dramatically over time improve your kill death ratio, your aiming. They're not going to make you amazing overnight. They will feel stupid at first and ridiculous, and you'll probably feel at your first moment with them, you're like, oh, this is weird, because you basically, the idea is I can barely touch this and I get the same range of movement, and it's also a more fluent movement. I don't have that jerky tension that I had without it. It means that I can just make things, once you get used to them, it's just a lot more comfortable, and it actually feels at first really uncomfortable, but when you're holding it in your hand, I feel as if it's actually quite a nice height, and it just feels a lot more fluent, and I can anyway, Another thing is you probably will have to adjust your sensitivity in game, and every game will be different. But once you get used to it. Now, they're not that expensive, and they're a wee bit dearer over here because I bought them from an actual store. It saved me having to take the risk of having them delivered from the US and then them not liking them. Now, they're about £13 UK or $12.99, whereas in the US, you're probably getting them for about $10, $13, which is actually quite good. It's a lot cheaper, but I'm a wee bit impatient that way. So, that's Control Freaks. Unfortunately, I can't really show you in games. I don't have a capture card. Sorry about that. But yeah, so that's one thing that can help improve your gaming. Just wee accessories is what I'm going to go over today, apart from just my setup. First of all, because I've got surround sound, I don't use headsets. Some of you will love your headsets. Those who don't have the surround sound are going to likely use their headsets. But the problem for me is when I've got a headset on, I used to use them, and they've got their pros because you can turn the volume way up and you're not going to disturb your parents or your neighbours or whatever. So I don't like the fact that the sound's coming in. It's a wee bit hard to tell because it's so close to your ear. Is it what exact axis someone is coming at, right? And I'm just going to give an example if I'm playing something like Battlefield, because I'm not really a big fan of Call of Duty anymore. And I also want to be talking to my friends, and I've got the chat headset. It's sometimes a wee bit disorientating and all that stuff. Now with the Kinect, you can obviously not use a headset, and you can talk to them through the speaker, and you can just sit in your chair and be talking to them, and you'll hear them through your TV or your surround sound. But now, the PlayStation 4 comes, as you've probably seen pictures of, a really cheap, crappy wee one earpiece that just goes in there, and it's just a cable. I don't have it out, it's still in the box in my room. And it's not very comfortable in your ear. It's almost like almost like the kind of headphones you would get out of $1 or £1 store, and it just sits in your ear and it's just the wee mic hangs from the cable, and it's not very good quality. So I went and picked up one of these, and very similar to the standard one. I've got it actually out the box for a second. Very similar to, and it's got the control bit here, and that just has a wee 3mm jack that goes into the bottom of your PlayStation 4 controller. And the Xbox One actually is quite good. It actually comes with one of these. Now, yeah, they're still slightly, they're not going to be as great quality as your Turtle Beaches and things like that, but I like these for me because when I've got surround sound on, I've got more accurate dynamic range of where someone is, and especially when you've got 5.1, or in my case 7.1, I like to just have no more the chat coming through into my ear as opposed to having through my speakers as well. So that means I can isolate voice chat from game sound. That's my point. I like to isolate that. So you don't have to buy one of these if you get an Xbox One. It will come with it. A lot of these will probably say, I'm never going to use it. That's fair enough. But anyway, PlayStation 4, you're best going to pick one. And I only paid about £10 or something for that. Probably talking $15, $20 or something like that in the US. Doesn't have to be that particular brand. I don't even know who it is. ORB, whatever, you know. Quite comfortable even still. Another wee thing is, I'll start off with the surround sound setup, and I'm going to turn my TV back on for a minute. I'm not going to really actually get to play any sound for you because you guys won't be able to tell from if you don't have one, certainly through YouTube. So basically, the first piece of kit for surround sound that's imperishable is an AV receiver, and that is something you've probably recognised from a previous video. Now this is made by Onkyo, and it is, I forgot the model number, the TXNR626. I know, you know what, my ugly mug in front of the poor camera work here. Now, an AV receiver or an amplifier does more than just give you surround sound. I mean, we're striving to mainly improving your gaming here, so one of these will do uncompressed audio every codec you can think of. So it's not just for games here, obviously for movies as well. It is amazing. Now, most people when they put a Blu-ray or a DVD on, they tend to just stick with the generic audio channel, and that's usually Dolby Digital. Dolby Digital is not crap, it's just not as good as DTS, which is Digital Theatre Sound, and you get the high-end codecs for your high def or Blu-rays, which is your DTS HD Master, and you've got Dolby Digital Plus, which is a wee bit older and it's less used now because you've got Dolby Digital True HD. And the only way you're going to get those true codecs is if you've got a piece of equipment like this that can actually pass it through. Where if you've got a low-end basic DVD player that comes with a surround sound speakers, we've all seen them, you get like a £200 or maybe $200 and you buy 5 speakers and it's a DVD player that's got a built-in amp, something like that won't be able to take those codecs in, and it will basically just downsample the sound. Now a lot of these will be fine with that, you'll probably maybe don't have an ear to notice, but when you've got the right setup you notice the sound is really crisp. And the volume on these things I've got mine at 31, it goes up to 99, I've never went past 40, 45, it's, but for music it's got built-in Wi-Fi. Now I can stream music from this tablet, my iPhone, my NAS drive. I can plug a USB pen in with a FLAC file, if you've heard of that. It's basically a free lossless audio codec, which is basically just it's HD quality music. Don't think you can buy them in CD, maybe. I've just downloaded them before anyway. You can get Spotify on this. It can pick up the radio from any channel around the world. I'm not kidding, I can pick and I just go into the settings and I can just, and this thing, I don't know if you'll be able to see, it's quite dark, but that just tells you all the codecs and all that sorts of stuff is as well. Now this thing can take a stereo channel, like, music for instance, or a standard TV program, and it can upscale it to 5.1 or 7.1, simulated of course, but it will just take that channel and break it up and put it around all speakers. Or you can even have it divided where the sound's going from one speaker to the next, or you can just have them all come through all speakers at the one time, so you've got more surrounding you. So that's quite good. Now it's got 6 HDMI ins and 2 HDMI outs, which means PlayStation 3, the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 all have their HDMI going straight into this, and an HDMI from this straight up into the TV. Now obviously the cables are going through the wall, and I can't obviously take this out and show you the back of it, but there's a ton of connections for speakers, optical cables. Look them up online and you can get a better review than this. I'm not doing a specific review on this, but bottom line is, an AV receiver, especially a brand like Onkyo or Panasonic, or even the Yamaha, than Panasonic, will do you justice. Now, speakers, basically, you want your best speakers at the front. Obviously, your centre speaker, for those who don't know anything about surround sound, is where your voice channels are going to come from, right? Your dialogue. Your left, this is actually the right, it's because this is in backwards, and your left speaker are going to be doing your front action sounds, obviously. And I've got 7.1, so I've got a speaker there on a stand, 2 back speakers, and a speaker over there. Those will do your kind of subtle sounds. Now, for gaming, that's really good for Battlefield, Call of Duty, because it's surrounding the whole room and I can hear it, pinpoint it, and when it comes from this angle to this speaker over here, where am I going? This camera's quite hard to use. I can really notice exactly where someone is, especially when I've just got alien isolation, and it's really good for that. I mean, trust me, if you guys have got one already, you'll know what I'm talking about. For those who don't, even go into somewhere like, for the UK, you've got that place, Richer Sounds. I'm not really sure about the US. A place where it sells all that kind of equipment, high-end TVs, surround sound equipment, AV receivers. Bring in a game, or bring in your console if they don't have one. Say, can I just test this? They will be more than happy, especially Richer Sounds, to let you test out their equipment with you, and you will really get a feel for it yourself. Obviously, the subwoofer, which is doesn't matter where you place that, it can be anywhere, is really good for your bass, right? I don't mean just for music, I mean like explosions, vibrations, like alien isolation when the ship's vibrating or creaking and feel it through the floor. These things really enhance your gaming. And obviously movies are absolutely amazing on them as well, because movies are really meant to be enjoyed, not just visually but audibly as well. Because everyone's all about HD TVs, 3D TVs and 4K TVs now, but it's half the battle. You really want a good sound setup. Headphones for me just don't compare at all. Now I say you don't have to buy the most expensive speakers. Like I say, these guys in the shops will keep you right, especially Richer Sounds. I highly recommend them. I go there for everything. And basically you need your AV receiver, a 5.1 setup, or if you're really keen on the 7.1, then you unfortunately can't buy, in the UK anyway, a 7.1 package. You'll need to buy a 5.1 package and then 2 additional speakers as a set with stands and decent speaker cable. And if you're really interested in that, because I won't spend the whole video on just that, send me an email and I will give you every bit of detail, even the right setup for your room. Be free, even send me a couple of photos if you want. I really don't mind helping. It's one of the things I know quite a wee bit about in quite detail, and that can be the distance you want it from your TV, and everything has to be ear high. All these wee things make a difference. I actually just decorated this room around this setup, so I've got everything symmetrical, even, and at the right heights, and all my cables are hidden completely. Apart from obviously a couple of things you've seen on the floor, nothing to do with my equipment, that's just plugs. And also apologise, I'm a bit of a rambler, guys, but anyway. So the next topic, obviously your consoles don't just play games. For movies, they play Blu-rays, so if you haven't ever seen a Blu-ray but you have the capabilities to do it, you've got an HD TV and you've got a PlayStation 3, 4 or Xbox One, get one. And if you've got your TV in 3D, which mine is, get a 3D Blu-ray, try it with surround sound. If you haven't, go to a shop that does, test it out, it is phenomenal. Now I'm not going to show you all my 3D Blu-rays, but I do have quite a lot. There's something quite popular like Avatar. Avatar is amazing in 3D, Titanic, believe it or not, is amazing in 3D, Jurassic Park is phenomenal. That's a 7.1 channel as well. One thing I want to show you, which is really cool about the Xbox One. Now if you want to see a separate review on this game when I've finished it, it is amazing. I never found the movies scary, but I found the game really scary. Anyway, I've made noises I never thought was possible. But the reason I'm not going to talk about the game, but one thing that I never mentioned last time, is when you get like your DLC cards inside your special editions of any Xbox game. Now with PlayStation 4, or we've all done with our Xbox 360 and our PS4, is you need to type that code in, and it can be a pain in the neck. And this just comes with what they call it again? QR code. Now basically I'm going to show you how this works. Now I've already installed this, but I'm going to show you how it works, and it is brilliant. With your Kinect, you simply look at the back and it will tell you to say Xbox, use a code. Right, and it will take you to this wee window, and all you basically have to do is just flash it at the screen, and that took less than a second, and it's already recognised. Now it says this code has already been used, but obviously what happens is it just comes up saying this is the alien isolation, last survivor, confirm. You hit confirm, or you can say confirm, and then once it's done that, you just say close and it installs it, or downloads it, installs it, and it's brilliant. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I've done that a few times. Another thing, that's just a wee thing I missed out with the last review, because I never had any of these to hand. Having a tablet, like any tablet, an iPad, a Kindle Fire HDX, any of the tablets that are out there, could increase your gaming for future. And that could be because games like The Division that's coming out, games like Battlefield, where you can basically have another player in the household, or even yourself, if you've got another console, can play the game through the tablet. I'm not really sure exactly what they're called, but most of you should know what I'm talking about. If you've been following these consoles, you've obviously came across this type of usage, where a friend or yourself can join a game and be, I don't know, like a commander, or you can just view the map and you can do certain things. So having a tablet, that's another piece of equipment I recommend. A smartphone. Doesn't have to be an iPhone, it could be any smartphone. But I'm going to show you this particular app. Now you all should know what this app is. Some of you will have it 360, but it's brilliant. And it's called Xbox Smart Glass. And that's my messages, I've hit the wrong one. I'm not very good at this today, guys. I really need to get myself a proper camera, I know. So Smart Glass, right now it's connecting to my Xbox. It does it quite quickly, and it is telling me exactly what I'm doing with my Xbox. Now I can scroll through and I can look at my achievements and any kind of news or what my friends are up to. So it's quite social, and again I can, basically like Facebook, I can just type whatever, leave a comment, like, share, whatever. And don't have to be at home to do this, I can be anywhere. But I can also go into the store and download games straight to my console if I've got the console set to automatic on. Now what I like is, if I go to the wee bottom right there, you'll see it looks like a wee control thing. Now it's telling me Netflix is on because that was the last thing I used. Once you hit that, it'll bring up this wee control thing. Now, if I tap the home button, it just takes my Xbox home. If I go, I can scroll with it. Now I'm doing that with that. It's brilliant. It means you don't have to go out there and buy the Xbox One official control unit. It's spending £20 or $30 or $40, however much it is. You can just download this app for free. You can also have it on your tablet as well. Now say I want to go into Netflix, right? Basically, if you're having problems with your voice commands and you want a remote control but you don't have the money to go and buy one, or you just don't want to, you have to sit there and point it, you can control this console with your voice, or this particular thing for anywhere in the house. Now the last thing, I'm just going to put anything on, right? This comedian, just tap that and hit it again and play, right? I'm not even looking at the screen now, now if I want to pause it, you've got your controls either at the bottom for rewind, play, pass, whatever, fast forward. Just hit A and it pauses it. I can skip back, pause, play. If I want to exit, just hit the home button. I can go back into it again. I can hit the home button. I can even do the two buttons on either side of there are basically just the same buttons that are on your actual controller. And I can scroll down and I can just close that, and yeah, whatever. Now if I want to, I'll just go back in it so you can see what I was doing. You hit the Wii, you can go in, you can slide that forward to get in your cable TV. As you can see, there's an option for it, but I could just hit the X button, close that, and I can basically go back to my Smart Glass home. And I can go into my friends, I can see who's in my friends, games, whatever. So anyway, that's Smart Glass. Highly recommend that app, absolutely brilliant. Especially if you're watching movies and you just want to use something physical and you don't want to sit there and you've got this, especially with surround sound, the volume's so high and you're having to shout at your tail, you're like, Xbox off! It's not hearing you, so anyway. So they're just basically a few things. Now another wee thing that's not really associated with just gaming, but because of the contents of what the Xbox One can do, and hopefully the PS4 will will have, as you've heard me talk about, as the NLA. And that's something like this. I keep boxes for everything, guys. It's basically just an external hard drive that plugs into your router. It's like having cloud storage only in a physical piece of kit in your house. This one's 2 terabytes. I recommend this company, Seagate. They do really good external hard drives or portable hard drives. But this means I can store all my files, music, movies, pictures, any kind of file at all, onto this, and have it constantly on 24 hours a day, and I can access any of those files through my tablet or my phone or my laptop or my games consoles from anywhere in the world. As long as it's on at this house and I'm in China, I can access, and it's really, really good. So that's good if you don't want to have to sit there and plug a hard drive into your Xbox to watch a film or a USB pen, and you don't want to use your laptop to right click and use the play to option because you don't have them on that particular computer. You can just go access them through your console. So that's another thing that can improve. It's not as much as, I suppose it's not really improving your gaming experience, but I see this video is more about how to improve your gaming experience and explaining my setup and how an all-round home entertainment experience can be quite rewarding. So I don't know if there's anything else I really wanted to go over with these guys, but there's a few other wee things that can obviously make your gaming a lot better as well, like a good gaming chair if you've ever got one of them. These are personally, just show you, these are just, this couch is just a recliner, so that's quite handy, and obviously the back pushes back. So all these wee things. So yeah, basically. Well, I'll leave it at that now. If you guys have any more questions at all, I'm going to be doing another couple of videos soon to try and show you, because obviously showing you the setup within the console, the surround sound and the games, I'm sure I showed you that in the last video, in the settings. But don't forget to obviously please like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions regarding my particular setup, some people have actually sent me emails wanting to know about who this guy is. That's just a company called Hot Toys. It's basically just for demonstration purposes. It's really, really ridiculously detailed. That's just to answer some of the people who've been asking me about them, obviously. But yeah, I hope you liked this video, guys, and I know I've ranted on, it wasn't planned. I just wanted to just show you some of the people about my setup, and how you guys can go around getting the same setup, and I can help you personally with that. Because trust me on it, your headsets, that's my main thing, headsets aren't the way to go. There's just no comparison. You really, really benefit from playing games like Alien Isolation, for example, Call of Duty, Battlefield. When you've got things whizzing, bullets whizzing past you, and you hear footsteps all around the room at actual distance, when your ear's still free to pick up voice chat or ambient sounds in your house, your friends are over, somebody can talk to you, you don't feel completely shut off, and having something uncomfortable in your head and having wires dangling down all that stuff. So that makes an amazing difference. Movies as well, if you enjoy your movies a lot more as well, and being able to use your Xbox, for example, and hopefully the PlayStation 4 in the future to enjoy all your multimedia files through some of the equipment like that I've shown you. Yeah, and obviously try Control Freaks as well if you're really struggling with your aiming. In Call of Duty, your kill death ratio is not really really good. Give them a shout, give them a try. They're not expensive, and give them some time, and they do help. Listen, I'll boost it now, guys. It was nice having a wee catch up with you, and just send us any comments or emails at all, and I'll speak to you soon.